Fellatonians, episode 196 coming at you. Eric in Overland Park, Kansas. Ped in Old Swan, Liverpool.
Okay.
We've got 41 points, Ped.
We've got 41 points. Excellent.
We have reached the Moyes threshold, and it's only April.
Now you're talking.
Isn't that just fantastic? I feel so great about this team and the season.
Let's be positive about this, Eric. Let's be positive about the whole thing.
We are going to continue our run as the second longest continuous run in top flight English football, only behind Arsenal.
Well, a few weeks ago, I mean, we were really panicking about the situation, and
we were elevatedly concerned. I don't know about panicking. We were elevatedly concerned, and losing to Dynamo Kiev was probably the saving grace for our season.
Yeah, I can understand why you would say that. If you remember, you only have to go back to 6 games ago, and when we got beat by Stoke, for me, which was one of the lowest points of the season. Kiev obviously came not long after that, but that was a real low point. That night there was no fight, there was nothing about this club, and I really worried whether we could stay up in the Premier League that night. I really worried whether we could stay up, because I looked at that team and thought, this team hasn't got any fight. It doesn't look like they want to win for themselves, for the manager, for the fans. They just didn't have anything about them. Since then, we've managed to take
Newcastle 3-0.
Well, there was a gap there, wasn't it? I think that was when the international break was on, I think, or it might have been an FA Cup break, something, and that broke it up a little bit. And the following week we got Newcastle, luckily enough, and QPR and Southampton, obviously, and so four wins out the last 5. Obviously, the draw against Swansea last week, and yes, we've turned the corner. And as you just mentioned there, the UEFA Cup, going out to the Europa League, was, in a way, a big thing, because you tell me, Eric. Does playing one game a week help this side? Is that the reason why we've turned the corner and got these wins?
Well, it didn't hurt, and that's obvious with the results. Since the Newcastle match, including the Newcastle match, in the league only, we're 13 out of 15 points. We've only conceded twice, one of those being a penalty to Swansea. It's helped. But it also comes down to the leadership of the team. We've got this gap again that we had a couple of years ago, where our old players are getting older, and our young players are not able to contribute in the way that they need to. We've got Lukaku's injury the past couple of matches. We've been saddled with injuries all year, same with every other club in the league. But the difference is we don't have that second line of players that are able to come in and step up that the bigger clubs in the league do have, that are able to supplement and push them forward. You see a loan signing in Aaron Lennon has come in, has run his tail off. There's no doubt in my mind that he has come in and also made a difference in these last 5 matches, because up until then he was still trying to fit into the side. He wasn't able to play in Europe, so he wasn't able to get any sort of match synchronization with the other players. So it finally, end of February, beginning of March, started to click for him with the other players in Everton, and everybody else around him has been lifted by him.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about Lennon a little bit in a moment, but I think
I
you
hit
know,
on a couple of different topics there, Ped.
yeah, did you mix it up a little? Very unprofessional of you, Eric. Well, we're trying to keep the single lines of conversation.
As if you've ever done that
I
in
do
every
that.
other show.
Listen. Everyone knows who the professional is on this program.
You are.
Uh,
But you're trying to keep your amateur status so that you can do podcasting in the Olympics.
in the Olympics, exactly
Yes.
right. This is exactly
gotcha.
what. This is exactly
And
what
I
want
understand
to
what
do.
you're going for, Ped, and it's admirable.
Listen, I'm one of the last of a dying breed. Last of the Corinthians, as they say. I mean, I think it worries me a little bit. I mean, yes, I think what's happened since Kiev is, or certainly before Kiev, is that we've just gone back to basics. We have gone back to basics in our defending. There's a lot less taking of chances around the back. We are just clearing the ball. We are just putting foot through it. We're not messing about. It's basics, and we're letting the people in front do their job. And I will mention, this will come into Anna Lennon in a moment, but defenders are just defending. Now, what actually annoys me about that is that if we sorry, can I just go ha ha ha, Villa have won, ha ha ha, they're in the cup final, ha ha ha.
Hold on. In addition to that, also,
Go on.
that means Villa is in Europe.
Yeah, it does actually. Yeah, well, yeah.
That means Villa has gained a spot in Europa League next year.
Good luck with that.
Right. I've seen stats that teams that get into the Europa League on average lose 3 spots on the table the following year. That's not good for them if they happen to stay up.
Okay, well let's just say
We're not a Villa show.
ha ha ha. Villa have won anyway. So. Yeah, defenders, and what annoys me more is I think if we defended backs to the wall style, very much like we defended in the last few games, we would have actually beaten Dynamo Kiev if we played like that, but we didn't. We tried to be fancy and try and be all clever, and it simply hasn't worked. So that's a little bit annoying. But in the league, certainly, we've gone back to basics and we've defended from the back. And you know what? It hasn't really made much difference to the way we've played, because when we've needed to defend, we've defended, and when we haven't needed to be hoofing the ball down the pitch, we haven't. So it's worked both ways. So you just think if we've done a little bit more of that during the season, then you just think, where would we be? Why is it taking so long for the penny to drop? That you can defend both ways. You don't have to take those chances all the time. Lennon, I would say, has definitely added the ability to have that outball as well, which we spoke about. He gives you that outball. What he's also done is he's brought a little bit more out of Coleman as well. He helps Coleman defend as well, so Coleman's not left with 2 men all the time, which helps us defend. So it's got a lot better. It's certainly got a lot better defending wise. As I say, we've gone back to the wall in the last few weeks, and it's a lot more positive. It just makes you wonder why we haven't been doing it all season. Lennon's been a big contributor to that, and also with Lennon, he picks up the ball and he runs at people and he makes people back off, and he gets the opposition 10 yards further back, and that makes a massive difference as well.
And another thing with Lennon is he's keeping Aiden McGeady off the pitch.
That's a massive difference.
Which doesn't hurt.
It doesn't. That never hits. Never hits because he's rubbish.
Yeah.
But it's not just that. I mean, he's just a better player, isn't he? Someone like McGeady picks the ball up. He doesn't really have any pace, so he doesn't add anything to the. All he's trying to do is.
He's trying to do what Aaron Lennon does.
Well, what Aaron Lennon does.
But it's slower.
Yeah, exactly. But Aaron Lennon picks up the ball. You've seen yesterday for the penalty. Aaron Lennon picked up the ball in a very sort of nondescript area, and and he just runs at people, and people back off him, and he ends up winning penalties or making things happen. He just runs at space. That's all he does. He doesn't do anything clever or anything spectacular. He just runs at the space, into the space, and that makes such a massive difference. So that for me is huge. He's been such a huge part of the turnabout, I'd say, for the club recently. So I really hope we take the next step and we sign him, because I think personally, I think he makes a difference. He's like having Pienaar on the other side, except you're replacing the skill for all outer pace.
Right.
He helps create space for Coleman to get up the pitch, because what he actually does, and this is something I was critical of him when he first came into the team, was he doesn't actually go out wide too often. He comes inside, and he leaves people not knowing where to go, not knowing who to follow him. That creates a space for Coleman. I mean, we had so much space yesterday on the right-hand side. It was unbelievable.
Yeah,
so,
but we also saw Barkley coming back very high to receive the ball. And so there was a void between Barkley and Kone that Aaron Lennon did dive inside from out wide to fill, and that's where that gap has been all season, with McGeady and possibly Naismith not having the pace that Lennon does to be able to make a difference and close that gap quickly. And like you said, with him being more central with the pace, the defense has to respect Aaron Lennon more, which opens up that wing for Coleman to get forward.
Yeah, there's so much more space because, as you just mentioned here, Aaron Lennon creates that space. He just runs and he opens up space, and that's what Pienaar does. That's what we've seen last week. That's what we've seen last week against Swansea. Pienaar opening space for other players to get into. And as I say, it's not. He doesn't do the same thing. It's not the same. Pienaar uses his skill, and also he just knows when to move into space. Pienaar, and that's what Lennon's been doing on the other side. So he's been a brilliant addition. And as you say, he's not just a typical A to B winger. He just doesn't go from one thing to the other. And we're talking about McGeady there. That's a big criticism of McGeady. McGeady picks the ball up in one area and continually just runs into another area. Lennon, every time he gets the ball, he's moving into different places. He's challenging the fullbacks. He's making them think a lot more. Coleman's helping him, as you mentioned. Ross was, using that space yesterday. Because actually, what was another thing from the performance was, we actually went back to that three in midfield that was so successful last season against Burnley, and again, it helped create so much space. We should have really in this game scored 3 or 4. We had so many chances that we just didn't put away. I mean, obviously Lukaku not being in the team is a massive difference, but this has been another criticism of the team all season, is other players not scoring goals, the lack of goals from centre midfield, the lack of goals from other places around the pitch. This has been a massive criticism, and there has been too much weight on Lukaku's shoulders. When he's not in the team, we really struggle for someone to finish moves off.
Yeah, we are struggling to finish from 12 yards out also. Aaron Lennon picks the ball up and drives in, gets tackled from behind. Contact outside the box, momentum goes inside the box. There's different interpretations of the law of what should happen there. Some people say that if the momentum carries into the box, then it's a penalty. If some people say, well, it's where contact is first made. Penalty was given. Ross Barkley steps up. What are you thinking at that point?
Well, I immediately sort of tweeted it. It was question mark, what's going on? Again, we've seen the situation. I was watching it intently, and Barkley picked the ball straight away and pointed his chest in to say, mine, mine, mine. Now, it was almost like it'd already been pre-agreed on that he was going to take the penalties, and he was sort of saying, clarifying the situation. But
fine. We don't know.
But I just don't understand why though. Why he's taking a penalty? Because you know what? If he'd strode up and he'd bent the ball into the top corner or done something spectacular, or had some, you would have gone, oh, he's been practicing all week. But his penalty was so abject, it was so poor. A right footer kicking it across himself's never good anyway. He just looked like he stood up and just wanted to take penalties and say, I want to score. And I don't understand the situation why that's allowed to happen. Okay, maybe Lukaku is the new penalty taker. I'm fine with that. I want to see Lukaku step up and score goals. I want to see his confidence get built up. I want to see him score more goals when penalties add to it. No problem with that. He's very, very confident and seems happy to do that. But Baines is on the pitch. It's 0-0, and you're just thinking, right, Baines go over, take the ball, and just score. Baines should be taking it. Baines has got one of the best Premier League records, penalty taking records, and yet, okay, he missed one against Manchester United. The next one he took wasn't great, but I'm just thinking, do me a favour. You're a senior player. Suck it in and go over and take a penalty, whether you want to or not. You've got a brilliant technique. It's muscle memory now, surely, regardless of how you're feeling.
Right.
And just, there's stories here in the season that he didn't want to take, he didn't want to be the captain in one of the games. I'm thinking, no, you should be the captain whether you want to be or not. You're a senior player. Man up, for God's sake. And this, we've seen it again. It's a slightly different situation from the Morelos situation, because Morelos was like adamant that he was taking it, and it didn't seem prearranged. But this one did seem prearranged. But still, it's still not good. It's still
right.
I know people go, oh, he was confident and all this and all that. But listen, so what? Be professional. Leighton Baines is on the pitch. Let him take the penalty, get 1-0 up, and we go from there.
Is it possible that after the Morelos situation, and then Baines was injured, so Lukaku stepped up, started taking them? After that happened, did it just get into Baines' head that he was no longer the penalty taker for Everton?
Well, it doesn't matter whether it got into his head or not. He's a professional footballer. He's a senior player at the club. He should be happy to take it. He should be wanting to take it. And I know, as I say, Ross Barkley looked very confident, very cocky when he picked that ball up. But I just think at times one of the senior professionals should be on the pitch and saying, no, this is Leighton Baines'. Or before the game, it should be arranged. Leighton Baines is taking this. He's the number one penalty taker. There's no Lukaku on the pitch. He should be taking it.
Right.
It really astonishes me that it's been passed around so much, and you're just thinking, no, be professional. This is the question, right? I'll ask you the question now. If it had been the Merseyside derby yesterday and Lukaku wasn't playing, do you think Ross Barkley would have took the penalty?
I think so. I do think so. I think it was. I do think it was predetermined.
But do you think that? Do you honestly think?
But if it goes in, if he doesn't completely choke it, if it goes in, he's confidence, his build up, the team gets behind him, and now you've got a new younger representative for the side moving forward. He missed it, and it was horrible.
So I don't think that. I think if that had been the Merseyside derby, I don't think Ross Barkley would have been allowed anywhere near that penalty. Personally, I think if it was a game of any importance, I don't think he would have been allowed anywhere near it. It strikes me as a sort of like a end of the season kind of mess around situation.
Right. Maybe it's a flip-flop decision from Martinez saying, hey, this doesn't mean anything, Ross. If we get a penalty, you're our penalty taker. Go see what you can do. Let's build on it for next year. Maybe that was what was.
I understand that, but if you're gonna start sort of things to creep into the game that are not professional, then you might as well. He might as well have a couple of kids on the bench then. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. He
should have had kids on the bench all year.
He should have a couple of kids in the bench or a couple of kids in the team. Because I just don't think Ross Barkley's taking that penalty. That if there's anything on this game, I think Leighton Baines is taking that penalty, and you approach it like like completely serious. I just think that's there's a lack there of leadership or professionalism or even both, and it frankly annoys me at times. I just don't think he should be. It should be allowed. I don't think it's allowed. It should be allowed. It should be allowed at our club. It wouldn't be allowed at anyone going for any kind of trophy or any kind of.
Well, for thanks sake, we don't do that with this club, Ped, so we don't have to worry about all that.
I just think it's. I think it's a little bit amateur when you've got a penalty taker as good as Leighton Baines. And then, as I say, people may turn around and go, well, maybe he didn't want to take it. Well, if he doesn't want to take it, so I don't care. I don't care if he wants to take it or not. He's a professional footballer. He's a senior player in the team, and he's got a pedigree of taking penalties and should just be stepping up and taking it and getting on with it. It hasn't cost us in the end, but seeing it against West Brom when Morella stepped up, that cost us on the night. I just think it's a little bit amateur. That's all. I just think, and again, and it's almost like we're too nice. Like anyone on the pitch is too nice to stand up and say, no, you shouldn't be doing this or you shouldn't be doing that. It's just like, I don't know. Just as I say, I think there's a little bit of lack of leadership or a lack of guts just to turn around and go, no, let's be professional about it.
Yeah. Let's. There's a couple of other talking points that I want to get to in the first half. And one is the yellow card to Ashley Barnes. It's obvious that he kicks out, and he does not make contact at all. And there's people, especially with Burnley and other people, just online saying he didn't touch him. It's not a foul. Why is it a yellow card? But I'm thinking, if he makes contact in that situation, would that not be a straight red?
Yeah, that should have been a straight red. That was an absolute snide, move. He goes to take a swipe at him from behind. That should have been a red card. And what was mad was McCarthy kicked the ball and it went out, and he gave a throw to Burnley, like just because there was no contact. It was absolutely strange circumstance there. I don't quite understand.
I think kind of on that he played advantage, and Everton wasted the advantage.
But you only get 5 seconds. You get 5 seconds of advantage, and the ball was kicked immediately as the foul happened. So therefore, where's the 5 seconds? Because the ball went straight out. So
yeah, I've got less issue with that. I'm glad to see that he at least came back and brandished a card, but. For me, that even without connecting, could have been red, but it definitely needed to at least be a yellow. So I was glad to see that was handled in the manner that it was, because it was pretty disgusting.
Yeah, it was at a
very petulant, very just not needed in that game at all, because
he's a horrible player.
Yeah. Then we kind of just expose that same area again, and it leads to a goal by Morales.
Yeah, and again, I mentioned before the right-hand side. That's where it was going to come from anywhere. It was going to come from the right-hand side, and again, nice little work move between Kone and I think it was McCarthy, and Morales at the second bite puts it in, and it was a decent goal. Not quite sure what Morales' celebration was all about, but
he was trying to teach the Burnley fans the chicken dance, I think.
Maybe that was it. Maybe that's what it was all about.
And he got the first part of it, and then he forgot the steps 2 and 3.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
It always makes me laugh. He's given it the hand signals into say, people are talking.
Yep, yeah.
I don't understand that, because this is a player who came out and said, I want Champions League football. I'll wait to the end of the season. I want Champions League football. It might happen at Everton if we get in the Europa League. In other words, I'm off, basically.
Right.
Talk is cheap. If you want to, he comes out after the game and says, "Oh, I'm happy here and I'm happy with the club and blah blah blah." No. Listen, listen.
Yeah, the canned club statement video interview post match was excellent, and some people fell for it hook, line, and sinker, and like, oh, okay, well, Kevin's in a right place, and everything's fine, and everything will be all right. If he wasn't told to say that, he wouldn't have said it.
Well, it doesn't really matter one way or another, because a player can say what he wants. A manager can say what he wants. Footballers and managers lie all the time. They say things. They say things all the time. Outrageous lies. And then when it comes to the crunch, summertime when there's no one about, well, yeah, this happened and that happened, and we got an unbelievable offer and this and that, an offer we couldn't refuse, and blah blah blah, and they blame each other and all this. It's
football.
That's it. It's
modern football. It's a modern game. It's what it is, and regardless of what we think about it, we still watch.
No, it was a good win. It was a good a good finish anyway. And to be honest, he didn't really do that much in the game apart from scoring the goal, and that's almost Morales in a nutshell at times. He doesn't really.
No, he kicked out at a player, got a yellow card. Could have been red.
It could definitely have been red. Could have definitely been a red card, to be honest. It was a pretty poor one, to be honest. But he did get away with that, I think.
So, yeah, kind of. He still got booked, but he was lucky that it was only a yellow.
It was high, and it was on the shin.
Yeah.
It stood there, so I think he certainly could have been sent off for that. I think he was very, very lucky that he wasn't sent off.
Anything else worth mentioning in this game? Clean sheet. Howard didn't have to do much.
To be honest, they had a couple of great chances in the game that really they should have scored from. Listen, it should have been a very, very comfortable win. We should have got the second, and if we got the second, we probably would have got more. Burnley are a very organised side, but they're not really a decent side. They're just a very, very organised side.
There's a reason why they're bottom of the table.
Yeah, you can understand why they're bottom, but you can understand why no one has really given them a hefty beating or too many hefty beatings. So you can understand that. But really, we should. We had a lot of attempts. We had 21 shots with 8 on target. This game was. It was like the rest of our season. We had a lot of chances at time, and we had 66% of possession. But goals are hard to come by. That's been a big story of the season. Goals, we just don't score enough goals, and we struggle when Lukaku's not in the side, for obvious reasons. But as we mentioned before, we don't make things easy for ourselves. We've got a penalty taker who scored 14 out of 15. And he's not on the penalties, so that's a big thing. But it's another win. Listen, it's another win. It's 4 wins out the last 5. We're unbeaten in 5 games now, 5 Premier League games. Yep. We've gone over that 40 mark. We've got 5 games left. You'd fancy us to hopefully stay unbeaten for the rest of the season. Manchester United's going to be tough next week, but you would fancy us to stay unbeaten for the rest of the season, and as we mentioned a few shows ago, you look at West Ham now. They've got 43 points. We've got 41 points, and whereas a few weeks ago we were like, no way. We did say that was the one to catch.
We're 6 points back of 8th in Swansea City. That might be a big ask. We're 5 points back of Stoke in 9th.
Top half is still where we want to finish. So that's definitely what you'd say.
And that's 2 points in 5 matches. That's definitely doable, especially with the form that we're on and the form that those above us are on.
And I know people will be like, oh well, that's awful, and it is awful.
It is awful because the first half of our season was horrible. First 2/3 of our season was horrible.
Most of our season has been horrible. We've just been lucky to play. I'm not saying we've been lucky to play teams who are in.
We finally have 10 wins, Ped.
Yeah. But what we should be saying now is we want to finish the season on a high. We've got 5 games. We play West Ham. we play Manchester United, we play Aston Villa, we play we play Spurs, we play Sunderland. We play a lot of games there that we should be winning. I mean, the next Manchester United, Aston Villa, and Sunderland. I'd be saying I want a very, very, very minimum of 5 points on them games. 7, is what we should be looking for. Definitely 7 out of those.
Sure.
Because if we can. You got to look at it as well as every position is money as well. Every position is what, 1.5 million. So you're thinking, well, if you can finish 3 places further up the table, if you can get to 9th place, then
that'll pay for Aaron Lennon.
That's that's 4.5 million, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, it'll almost pay for Aaron Lennon.
Exactly. So that's the way you've got to think about things at times. Unfortunately, that also skews the league, because you think, well, we want to throw a couple of youngsters in, but clubs are so reliant now on that money that it's just, it's
I do know. And we'll take a break and come back and talk about Man United. We'll be right back.
Oh well.
Oh well, what?
Oh well, Aston Villa.
Oh well, Stevie G doesn't get to play in Wembley on his birthday.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
All right, you ready?
Do it.
All right, we're back on Follow Tony's, brought to you by Abscess Services Limited. Let's talk about Man United. We get to see Fellaini again. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Maybe Rooney will actually play against us this time. It's been a while, hasn't it?
If you asked me a few weeks ago, I'd be looking at this game thinking, I'd be I wouldn't be too worried about it. But United are in really, really good form. They've won 6 out the last. Well, they've won 7 out the last 10. I mean, obviously got beat by Chelsea this weekend, but they played quite well in that.
Everybody gets beat by Chelsea.
They found the formula. You say that, but Man United, Chelsea have only won 6 of the last 10. So.
Yeah, but they've got 10 points.
Yeah,
10 points gap.
Yeah, well, they've won the league. But Man United are playing really, really well. They found the formula, how to play, and as you just mentioned, Fellaini is a big part of that formula now of how they play. They've suddenly found a system, whether it be by accident or not, how to play, and they use Fellaini now in a way that
in a kind of a forwardish role.
In a way that we used to play him, basically. Yeah. They play him in the system that we used to play him in. So, so it's weird how things go round. They bought him for that huge amount of money based on how he played for us. Then they changed the way he played, which was weird because it was the same manager. And now they've reverted back to type. So it is strange how things go round. It is going to be a very, very tough game. I'd say, Fellaini's in decent form. They finally found a way to use Young and Mata and Hierro and get the best out of them. So we are certainly going to have to be a lot better than we have been in the last few weeks, certainly in front of goal, if we want to win this game. Because Manchester United, they're in 3rd place now. Okay, Manchester City are 4 points behind them. I think they've got a game in hand. So there's still a massive fight on there for the top 4.
No, City's just 1 point behind now with the win today.
Oh, sorry. I'm looking at the table from yesterday.
Ped, come on, get up.
Jesus, professionalism. This is
why you're an amateur.
Yeah. They're only a point behind them now. So obviously Liverpool are still trying to get into. So there's still a lot to play for. I mean,
Manchester United 7 points back of Champions League now. That's pretty much done.
But Manchester United won't be looking like that. Manchester United will be thinking, right, if we can get a second, then that's actually really, really a brilliant finish. We go straight into the group stages of the Champions League, and that makes such a difference as well for preparation and
sure.
and and it also means you're guaranteed. You know what money you have, what money you can spend. It makes such a difference. It also means less games as well. So Manchester United be thinking, right, get second, get guaranteed for Champions League group stages. I think the group stages are guaranteed to third, but they'll want that second place. Makes a massive difference. So from their point of view, there's still plenty to play for the rest of the season, and they'll be going for it big time.
Yeah, we've got absolutely nothing to play for now that we're on 41 points, and yeah, we're not mathematically safe, but we essentially pretty much are.
No, I think we are very, very safe. I think we were safe the day we beat Newcastle, basically.
Or QPR.
Well, Newcastle, to be honest, I think when we beat Newcastle, we were pretty much safe. Leicester have gone on a great run. I don't think QPR and Burnley are going to do enough to get themselves out of there. Sunderland and Hull probably are the only other teams. I think now Villa have got 32 points.
That's only 4 points above.
No, but I just think they've got upwards momentum. I mean, they've just got themselves in an FA Cup final.
In Europe.
There's some, not the Europe thing might be guaranteed. People are saying it goes into 7th now automatically. I wasn't sure if that came in this season or next season.
I thought it was next.
I think it might be next, and the reason I think it might be next is because the people are still showing the table as 5th and 6th for Europe. So I don't know.
Right.
So anyway, forget about that. So I think we've been safe.
Who gives a crap about that?
Who gives a crap?
We're not going to be 7th, and we're definitely not in the FA Cup final. So.
Although.
What? Oh yeah.
Although, let me just. We are.
On the other hand.
Oh no! Hang on. I think we are 6th in the Fair Play League, right? And West Ham and Burnley are the only teams above us that aren't qualifying for Europe. And the rumour is that West Ham don't want to get into Europe, don't want to take the Europa route, don't want to go into Europe, basically. So it would be interesting if Burnley would take that spot. I'm clutching at massive straws here, but I'm just wondering if it did fall to an English team, whether we'd have an outside chance of getting the Fair Play. I know.
Have we turned into Fulham or what?
Listen, I would take anything for Europe. I don't care what anyone says.
I
love it.
I mean, the way it's just so frustrating. We'll talk about this in the season wrap later on. Anything else we want to mention about the Man United match? Not really. You'll be wearing your sunnies and your flip flops, and you'll be staring into the bright English spring sunshine.
Yeah, look, we just need Lukaku back, as I say. Going back to that Fair Play League, by the way.
Come on.
No, I'm clutching at straws. We've got nothing to talk about. I don't know why it hasn't been updated, but after 30 games, we are 6th in the table, right?
Because it only updates once a month. They don't like to keep it regular.
Well, West Ham, I think it is monthly. West Ham are top, Burnley 2nd, Liverpool 3rd, Man City 4th, Southampton 5th, and we'd be 6th. So I think West Ham have said they don't want it.
Can you turn it down?
So yeah, you can. I think you can turn it down because it's not an automatic place. It'd be interesting to see if Burnley would want it. Would be if they go down. Then it'd be Liverpool.
But honestly though, the red card yesterday for Burnley could have.
Yeah, this is only from a few weeks ago, so I don't know what the table will look like. But we are in 6th place at the moment, so and we are only 0.2 off.
Whatever the heck that means.
Well, yeah, it just says played. It says West Ham score. West Ham are on 999, which the score is 249.8, average 8.3. So I don't know whether it goes by average or the score or what. I haven't got a clue. But if we can be nice for the rest of the season, who knows? We might have an outside chance. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing things at it. I'm just throwing things and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, and then we can keep Kevin Morales.
I think he wants Champions League, not.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I don't either. Nobody does.
We'll wait and see.
We will.
I don't know. We'll wait and see.
Have you seen the video from we mentioned this Newcastle match, the 3-0 victory? Have you seen the South African fan? Some credit card commercial. They go and interview a South African Everton supporter and send him to Goodison.
Yeah,
it's absolutely amazing.
It's amazing, isn't it? It really is.
Tears.
If you haven't seen it, just go and find it. It's amazing. It's like you get shocked. It's shocked into, you know.
You always remember your first time, and you always remember the person that scores for the first time you see an Everton goal at Goodison.
Oh, memories for you.
Memories.
Like the color of my mind.
Oh, I gotta get back. Gotta figure out how to get back.
Just get back to where you
once belonged. Isn't that a yeah?
Eric was a man who'd been to Goodison. Now he wants to come back. He needs to earn more money. I don't know how he's gonna do it. He might start selling crack. Get back.
Should we end the show on that note, Ped?
We literally got nothing else to talk about.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Much appreciated. To a show about almost nothing. About a club with nothing to play for the rest of the season. We'll keep doing shows because we don't have anything else to do, I guess. We'll talk to you guys later. Come on, you Blues, let's go.